In this video, we're gonna explain the object reference which we discussed in chapter 3, and the class we wrote there was a book. However, I'm going to demonstrate another class to help you to understand the topic more, which is copying objects to other objects. Let me create a class, for instance, car. So first it's called car. We can choose another one. That's a car. Of course, I'm not going to choose all the attributes required, but just to try to make a few of them. One of them is, for instance, make, like Toyota, BMW, Lexus, and so on, Nissan. The other one, engine size, for instance, engine size. It depends actually when writing the names of the attributes. Some of you probably write it like that. Some of you probably write it like I've seen some of you write it like this: engine size, for instance, which is like a database attribute name. But whatever you want to choose, but choose good names. Then we're gonna say model, which is model. What else? Color, for instance. Then we choose only these four attributes. Make, for instance, as I said, that's of course type string, capital S, string. Here it is. Don't forget semicolon here. Engine size, usually refer to the engine size like 3.7 and so on. So that's a double, or you can use float. So I'm going to use double in here, engine size, and that's the model. Probably the model is like Nissan Micra, BMW X5, and so on. Right? So, of course, you can use more attributes if you want to, and of course, let me see, color. Color, of course, is a string. Color is a string here. So I've got these four attributes. Of course, the string, this is I in here. Missed on the I. The obvious two, what is you're gonna do as the constructor. The first one is the default one. Of course, empty. Oops, sorry. Yeah. Car. And is empty. The second one, car. But take the attributes. Remember, you've got four here. You have to put them here. Don't forget here, you have to put the types and function called strings, make. Let me use the same names, make. Then I've got double, for instance, engine size, string. I'm going to use the same names, by the way, here. Model. That's, see, this mistake here. That's capital S. And of course, you can put, for instance, string. I'm going to use C for color rather than using the color, just to demonstrate when the attributes are similar name, are these names are similar to these ones. So in that case, all you do just, of course, you have to put this make equal to this make. There it is. Right, then this engine, there it is. Just hit enter, give you that. I say engine, of course, size. and then this dot model, this equal model. And of course, the last one is I just put C for color, just for demonstration. So I can just say color equal C. Done. Right? We created actually the objects, one default and one with data. You can choose, or you can put more the methods, of course. For instance, you want to change the color. If you want to change the color of the car, what would you do? Of course, you cannot change the engine size because the engine size is fixed. Say we can change the color. So say you have to, when you change something, usually use set. So don't forget public. And remember, when you do set, always use void. Right? Or say set, for instance, color. There it is. And when you do set, you have to send, right, a variable in here of type color. So it has to be like this, string. So in here, you have to type string. There it is. You can put, if you want, if you put color like this in here, remember, all you do, you have to say this equal to this. So of course, because they are the same name, so what do you use? This, of course, color, hit the enter, give you it equal to this one, right? So this always, this is referred to this one, and equal to whatever you send here. So I can use color. All right. This is done as the class car is really created in very simple way. Now I'm going to test that class, which is I'm going to create actually objects, and I'm going to try manipulate the objects as we talked in chapter 3. So I can go here, I can go here, or I can go here. Right, if you are in Windows, just right click. If you are in Mac, I'm sorry, go in here. If you're using Mac, just Control, right click. It is, and you just same things. You go class, right? Class, and here's a class. Always I use whatever the class name is. Then I just say test it, which is something like, you can use any name you want. Test car. Remember, for testings, I need to use main, because that's when you create objects. You create objects in the main. You don't create objects inside the class. The class is the blueprint. Remember that always, right? So public, let's click on this one. You can click on this one, or you can type it if you want. Demonstrate that before. Say, I'm not going to click in here, for instance. I want to type it. So what I do here, I click on finish. This is being created for me, test. Of course, in the test, you need to put a main. So just public. Remember that. Static, void, main. Remember, capital S, string. This is an array. There it is. And you can put any variable here. So not always like args. You can put X if you want to. It's up to you, right? Anything. But args looks, because you get used to this. Right. Now, what we're going to do, I'm going to create, say, 3 objects. How do I create objects? Remember, create an object, the class name, class. The class name, is this a class? This one, not test. I've seen some people, they say test car and try to create object. No, you don't create objects from this one. You create the object from the main class, which is called car. So it's car, say for instance C1 equal to a new. Then when I say a new, it means then I can use the constructor, which is similar name as the class as car. Either use the empty one, the default one, right? So you've got the option, either choose this one, and here, this one, or you choose this one. If you choose this one, you have to give all these data here, right? All this data in the right order. So I'm going to use them both. So the first one, I'm going to use the empty one, default, and I can use car C2, for instance, here, equal, same things, class, choose a name for the object, then a new, it is car. If I want to use the second one, remember the second one, here it is, make, for instance, here, make. So I'll say make. So the make, for instance, say you've got BMW, right? The second variable or the second attribute is the engine size. I'm just going to give make up numbers. So because that's a double, I would say 3.7, something like that, right? And then you've got the model here. Model, say, for instance, you've got, because it's a string, you have to put, say, x5. All right, comma. The last one is color, which is C, refer to the color here, the color. Right, I'm going to put the color, for instance, because it's a string, I'm going to say a black color, right? So I created C1 and C2. When I create C1 and C2, there are two separate objects now. Let's populate the first one because that's just empty. If it's empty, you need to populate this one. So I would say C1, for instance, dot, it's going to give me the list. Choose any one of them. And here, for instance, make, yeah, click on it, hit enter, give you make, I don't know, say listen. Right, here it is. I'm sorry, here it is, yeah. Then C1, you have to get all the data required, just similar to this, these ones. Now, the model, no, the size, engine size, you can put it any way you want, right? Engine size equal, says, I don't know, 2.8, for instance. Then C1, need model. Say the model. Model is probably put, I don't know, sunny. Something like that. Something like that. Anyway, I'm not good with cars and so on. Then remember there are 4 attributes here. So I need the 4th attribute. C1 dot the color, right? Here's the color. And let's choose a color. I don't know, white. All right, here it is. So I've got the two objects. I can print that in here. So it's, for instance, I would say system out print ln, then print the first one. So I would say C1 make plus, put a space here, and then don't forget the plus. C1 engine size, here it is, plus, and just put space here. You can put, by the way, you can put backslash T if you want, just like in C++. But just put a space like that, or let's try the backslash T. So backslash T and backslash, of course you can put slash backslash T as well. Right, I can put that on second line if I want to. Here it is. And what else? What do we have then? What's left? C1 model, it is plus space backslash T, just give me a tab, Be careful here. It'd be nice to put a space between here and here, right? Then plus, we've got the C1, say the color. Yeah, it is the color, right? That's done here. Then print the second one, which is, right, for quick, copy, oops, sorry, using, here, I'm using, as for a second thought, I'm using Windows here, so copy it, and of course, for this one, all I need to just change it to C2 in here, as the second object, C2, there it is, C2, C2, and of course C2 here. Right, if I print that now, that's gonna just print this for me. Right, run. Okay, and here they are. I've got a car Nissan 2.8. There it is. Sunny and white. The other one is BMW 3.7 X5 and it's black. So I'm just making sure you can create as many objects as you want in here. The point we would like to demonstrate, if you say, as soon as you say new, you know, when you say in here car C1 a new, it means a new object being created. Assume I come here and say car C3, for instance. If I stop like that, just like that, that's fine. There's no words says new, so there's no objects being created at all, right? So as soon if I say like this, well, a new, so as soon as I say a new, there's third object being created. Then car and do whatever I want to choose, first one, first constructor or second constructor. However, what I want to demonstrate is if I don't have a new, just like that, that means this object is not being created as yet because there's no words in new. So if I say C3 equal C1, in that case C3 is equal to this one. So in reality, I've got C3 is pointing to object C1. So whatever C1 is, C3 will be the same. So if you look at this, C3 equals C1, you can do that. Or in short, look at that. C3, this is C3. So I can say it like that. Equal C1. Right? So there's no point doing this, right? This is in short, right? You can do it like that if you want, like this, right? And then you say C3 equal C1. Be careful. You cannot do this C1 equal C3. The reason for that, you cannot do that. You can't. The reason for that, because C3 is not an object as yet, not being created with the new. Which one is created with the new? Either C1 or C2. So you say C3 equal to C1. Right? In that case, what I'm going to do here, look at this. I'm going to come here and say, all right, I'm going to take this, for instance, here. Oops, again, it's a mistake. There we go. Sorry. This is, I come here and do this, and I'm going to put C3 here. There's a 3, and of course C3 here, right? So what we're expecting here, C1, of course, this is the details, Nissan, Sunny, 3.8 white. When I say C2, make, size, engine size, model, and color, it's going to give me the BMW, all this here. If I say C3, remember what C3 is. C3 is not being created, however, say C3 equal C1. 1, which means it's this, right? Whatever C1 is, the object C1, C3 will be the same. All right, let's run the program and see. So of course, the first one is going to be C1, the second is going to be C2, and the third is going to be C3. So what we are expecting here is it's going to be, this is the Nissan, because that's C1, and this is the BMW, and this is going to be the Nissan, because it's equal to C1. Right, let's demonstrate this. Of course, say OK. And here they are. You see, that's the third. The first one, that's C1. That's a C2, and of course this is the C3, which is equal to C1. Right? Now, what we're gonna do? Assume I did this. I come here and I say C1 equal C2. What's gonna happen here? Right? Even though I've got two objects now. C1 is equal to C2 actually. So when I print again, if I print these statements, what's going to happen here? I think today, right, again, they're not coming here. Right. Why I'm thinking I'm using Windows here. Right, we'll do this and come and do that. Right. So of course, this one here. Same things, this one, and that's C3. So what we expect in here? Let me put a space here. Put space. System out. Print ln. And of course, let's put something like just a couple of lines. That is here. So we can see the difference between these two. As we said, at this point in time, C1 is referring to the Nissan, this one. C2 is referring to the BMW, and C3, of course, is based on this. C3 equals C1, so it's going to refer to the C1. Look at that. C1 equals C2. So what happens when I print C1? In that case, C1 is equal to C2. So C1 is pointing to C2. Whatever C2 is, C1 is going to be. So the output we're expecting here, look at that, C1 equals C2. So C1 in that case is going to be the BMW. C2 is going to be, of course, the BMW. What about the C3? Right? C3 is in here. C3 equals C1. So assume this C3 is going to be pointing to the Nissan. It didn't change. Let's run the program here. There you go. You see that? Here it is. The first part, the first one, if you look in here, here's the C1, the car, which we made it here. The C2 is the BMW. So C3 equal to C1, which means refer to this one. So when I print C1, that's the Nissan. C2 is, it says BMW, and C3, of course, because C1 is going to refer to the Nissan. Look at this here. C1 equals C2, which means C1 now is equal to this. So C1 becomes the BMW. So when I print C1, that's going to give me BMW. C2 is already the BMW. And of course, C3 is based on this. Okay, C3 was referring to the C1, never changed. So still pointing as the Nissan car. Now, I think this concludes how to use that one. And just one thing, just rather than doing this as together like that, in shortcut you can do it, because C3, this is C3, equal just like C1, like that, right? And I can remove this, right? Of course, in here, what happens if I do this? Remember, I just put a method before, it's called set color. So I want to change the color, for instance. We change the color of the Nissan, right? So I can say, how do I change the color? In here, C1 dot Can you see there's set? Here it is, set color. And put a color. Can you see it here? It needs a string of type color. So I'm going to say, for instance, I don't know, golden. Right, here's golden. Right, it's in here. How to put the quote? There you go. Right. Let's run this one. What's going to happen now in this case? Look at this. Where I put this. The set color, I put it after the print. So after this print, you see this print here? I've done it here. So I'm going to have the same output here. However, which one is changed? Even though I've changed C1, the color, C1 is pointing to C2. So of course, the C3, because C3 is the C1. So C3 is going to change from white in here, from white to golden. Hopefully, that's going to give us this. This is in here. Here it is. Can you see it? It's golden. Now change from white to golden, even though this is C3. You see, I've changed it on C1, but C3 is changed because of this. Because of that in here. And before I've changed that one. Right? That's actually where you do copying. And what's the output like? Just in case you have a question like that, says what is the output, so you know what's the output here. One last thing, I'm going to reiterate on the to string, because as we mentioned that and we discussed that in the class, this is too much to type. So rather than doing this, it'd be nicer to put like system out print ln. I can say C1. There it is. Just copy this. Copy that. There it is. I'll make it right this time. There you go. Then you do this. Then this. So all I need to change C2 and of course C3. I'm sorry, C3. And I don't need this anymore. How do I do that? Because I need this. Take this as we discussed that in the class. Sometimes I'm trying to just iterate this. I need for you to get used to this. I just copy it. You come here and you create. Remember, you create two string. Right. So remember, it's always public string. It is capital S, two strings, nothing here, and here it is. Just paste, I've just copied. Can you see that? That's in the right statement. Of course, don't put the semicolon at the end, and remove any reference for object. You don't need to do any objects here. Remove that. Leave as it is, everything. Here it is. Of course, get these ones. With one line. There you go. With a space here, be nicer. And there you go. Right? And of course, after you've done this, don't forget the return, because return. You need the return because you're returning of something type string. So all you do, just do that. And that's it. That's it. So you remove any reference to these ones. Just remove them here. There you go. And then I'm changing the color. Let's just leave them. And of course, this is space in here. I remove all of these as well. So that's C1, C2, C3. So all I do, and instead of doing that, I just do just printing or copying these ones. Similar, right? Here it is. So this one, I just copy them in here. There you go. So that should give us the same result. Right? Say yes. Okay, we've changed that one. There it is. It's the same. So when I say C1, by default, when I say C1, it goes to something called to string. Right? So that's conclude this part, and I hope you understood this. If you have any question, please check on video and tell me what second, what minute, the time of the video, and the part you didn't understand, and I can explain it in more details in the class. I wish you can click, when you watch this video, click on like or dislike, is up to you, right? Just to see the quality of videos, and we're going to do this again and again to help you understand the topic. Thank you very much. I wish you enjoyed this video, and we'll do another series of videos. Thank you very much.